Buonasera. Buonasera.
This is the first time you're going to show that film? Yes. Is that right, Mom? Before Midnight is a movie that Richard and I have been getting a great response to, but it could never happen overnight. It's something that kind of what I feel very proud of about the movie is that what works about it required time to make it. And I think what my mother and Maria are working on and what they're accomplishing here is something that can only, it takes place a little bit at a time. It takes place over a long period of time. And I mean, maybe that's a reach for exactly what they have in common. I mean, the obvious thing that they have in common is that our family is committed to both of them. That's the most obvious.
Ethan, do you have any vivid kindergarten? I mean, that's going back a ways, but
there are a lot of smart answers to this question that I could think of, but the truthful answer is that what I really remember is this girl named Sarah, and she was the reason why I wanted to go every day, and there was something remarkable about her. And
Have you kept up with her?
I have not kept up with her, sadly, but I remember her vividly, and I've kept up with her in my mind. You know, there's a funny thing that my mother actually said about that, what you remember about kindergarten, and I love this idea of realizing that I wasn't that special. And I remember we were talking about this earlier about kindergarten, and there is a great thing that you learn, because when you're a kid growing up just in the safety of your own home, you feel like your parents and your grandparents and stuff love you so much, and all of a sudden you're one of a generation. And it's the first taste you get of humility, which is going to follow you the rest of your life. The story of Before Midnight started 18 years ago with the first film, which is Before Sunrise, where Julie Delpy and I play these characters who meet on a train and end up sharing one night together, and they decide not to exchange phone numbers. Of course, now this would be a totally foreign idea because they would have exchanged email and texting each other photos of their dogs the next day. But they lost touch with each other, and Jesse ended up writing a book about the experience of the connection that they felt. And in the last days of his book tour, 9 years later, he meets her, and they rekindle. And Before Midnight finds them 9 years later married with 2 children. And it kind of, the first film kind of explores what could be, and the second film explores what should have been, and the third film explores what is. You know?
Was the 9-year gap between the movies intentional, or it just happened?
it just sort of happened that way. We thought we were going to shoot this summer, but as we realized our schedules last year we were able to, we used it as a little motivator. It would be the same 9-year gap. We still don't know what that means, but...
We can pretend.
Yeah,
there's some symmetry to it.
Numerological thing, you know, 9s, very important in relationships. No, it just happened that way. This whole series of films sort of just happened. It was never planned, like so much in life. Like Leslie being here. Not really planned, but it's how it unfolds, and it's great.
I am extremely proud of the work that my mother does. And that's what I was going to say. And, you know, over the years, what my mother said is really true, that I've always known my mother to be a woman of conviction and a woman of certain moral integrity, and I've long admired her. But without her friendship with Maria's educational expertise and designing these programs and running them. It's impossible. It's their relationship that has allowed my mother to be the person that she wanted to be when we were in New Jersey. It's just she hadn't met Maria yet. They're like Lennon and McCartney, you know. You can't talk about which one. You know, they need each other.
Marriages should be this good.
Yeah.